Hi guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. Like the little jewel new glasses. I was going for like that glamorous librarian look. What do you think? Tell me down below if you like them or not. I haven't decided yet. Today I want to talk about microfleets, and there are five. Make sure you stick around to watch them all. 5 things you need to consider if you're going to drive for somebody for a company like Prime, where they have different fleet owners. So a lot of these guys, and I do respect them, these guys own multiple trucks. Therefore, they drive one themselves, and they put a company driver in one of those trucks. They might even have a company team driving one of those trucks. So 5 things I want you to consider before you decide to work for a fleet owner. Now, with that said, I'm going to say there are 3 guys, 2 of them you know, and 1 of them you saw on my channel, that I absolutely don't know what that was. It wasn't a gunshot. Hope not. Anyway, so there are 3 guys that you do know. 2 have their own channels. That's No Hippie Trucking and Million Mile Man. And then Alan Godfrey, who did an interview on my channel, and he owns Kokomo Express. He owns like 8 or 9 trucks now. I have actually placed some of my students on various trucks of some different fleet owners, especially with there's a long wait list. People are like freaking out because it might take an extra couple weeks to get your truck once you're upgraded. So this is an option if you don't want to go lease and you don't want to stay like in limbo. You don't want to stay in training and you want to upgrade. Getting on a truck that belongs to a microfleet owner might be a good option for you. However, there are some things you have to consider. Okay, and I put these in no particular order, but number 1, now you have 2 bosses. You don't just have your fleet manager as a boss. Now you have the fleet manager and the owner operator. So, you know, sometimes you might feel like, oh man, there's a middleman in between, because the fleet manager is going to send you a load. You see the load and you get all excited and think, yeah, that's what I want. And then the fleet owner turns around and says, no, I don't want you to take that load. Because, and I'll get into in another step about pay, but, you know, these guys will promote driving their trucks as benefits of company, but flexibility of leasing. So I really want you to ask, in these 5 things we're going to discuss, I want you to ask exactly what does that mean to your particular fleet owner, because every single one can have to run their truck differently, offer you different compensations. So keep in mind that you're going to have 2 bosses, not 1, and you're also going to have to decide, you're going to have to ask this fleet owner, how does he want you to interact with the fleet manager? Some don't want you interacting with the fleet manager at all. They want to totally take care of everything on their end. They want to decide everything, and then, you know, you don't really communicate with dispatch other than something that's, you know, major, like, all right, I'm not going to make this load on time because the truck just broke down, or, you know, I was held up at the shipper, so therefore I'm not going to make the on-time delivery. But some of these truck owners, they just want you to limit communication with the fleet manager because they want to be the ones in control. It's their truck. Makes sense, right? Number 2, one of the benefits of leasing is what? To be able to decline loads. Now, as a company driver, we can decline loads for certain reasons, like, you know, it's too close to my home time, it's taking me the wrong direction, I don't have enough hours, you know, if this particular place is unsafe, like, I won't go to Cincinnati, there's a particular customer there. It's not safe. I'm sorry, I'm not going. You don't like it? Fire me. You know, but some of these owner-operators are like, yeah, you know, run it the way you want. You basically control the truck. That's your freedom with me. And then others are like, no. You don't get to decline loads because I got to pick the loads because I got to stay profitable. Again, it's up to them, so you have to understand what kind of relationship you're going to have with that owner-operator and what they expect from you. Something else is repairs. And keep watching because I'm going to get to the pay scale, and that's a huge, huge thing that you have to think about. But number 3 is repairs. As the owner-operator, they have to pay for repairs. Now, most of the trucks are under warranty, things that are going to go wrong, but there are going to be things that need to be done like tires or any kind of regular maintenance, anything that's wear and tear on the truck, that owner-operator would have to pay for. So how do they expect you to have that done? And what if you're driving for somebody that you really don't feel safe with, say, a tire that looks like, it's starting to go and you don't feel safe, and he doesn't want to replace the tire? So sometimes when it comes to like buying things like coolant and anti-gel and things like that, the owner-operator might get a little upset if you're buying too much anti-gel, or he thinks that you're spending too much money on that, this and that, or like washing the truck, for example. As a company driver, I get to wash my truck every 2 weeks, but if you're driving an owner-op's truck or you are a lease op in your own truck, if you're washing that truck every week or a couple times a week, you're just building up expenses and eating away at the profit of the truck. So it's just one more thing you need to talk about. Now, home time. You hear a lot of these lease ops brag about, oh, I get to go home whenever the heck I want. That might be true, but you have to stay out a certain amount of time to be profitable. And that's not true as a company driver. A company driver, some of them, if you're running intermodal, you're home every day. Some in regional are home every weekend, every other weekend, but even an over-the-road company driver can be home every 3 weeks. Most of the lease ops I know stay out 6 to 8 weeks before they take home time. You have to make sure that the two of you understand your expectations. Are you expecting to go home every 3 weeks? And if so, for how long? And is that okay with him? Because that owner-op might not be profitable if you're going home that often. Now, the flip side of that is if you decide to take 2 weeks off. Now, as a company driver for me, I get vacation pay. So I don't have issues like that. If I want a week off, I take a week off. It's not the same as somebody who, might be brand new and you've been driving for a few months, and now all of a sudden you want to take a week off, or you want 2 weeks off. Say you want to go on a cruise. Most of these guys are going to be flexible with something like that if you are a good, safe, profitable driver. But if you're hitting crap and, busting up their truck, and, you're not maintaining your clock properly and you're delaying all the time, that's going to affect that owner-operator's reputation as well as that owner-operator's profits. So you have to learn to work as a team, because then neither one of you are going to be happy. But the fifth and final reason, well, not final because I'm sure there's a whole bunch of them, but what I think is the most important is pay and your bonuses, your compensation. Really make sure that you understand what that person's offering, because at Prime, it's negotiated. So Prime's pay for a company driver is 50 cents a mile for starting out with a new driver. That's not what I make, because we get increases every year, and we get increases based on the number of miles we run. So with that being said, it's 50 cents a mile for a full-size truck, and it's 55 cents a mile for a lightweight. I don't want to say gimmick, but one bragging right that a lot of these owner-operators will give is, well, I'm going to give you a 5 cent a mile bonus, so I'm going to put you in a full-size truck at lightweight pay, so you're going to start out at 55 cents a mile. And to a new person, that sounds great, because you're already getting 5 cents more a mile than you would have if you were in that condo full-size as a regular company driver. However, if you were on the company side for a company fleet manager in that condo. You'd also get a fuel bonus, which could be up to 8 cents a mile. 8 cents a mile, guys. So that would bring you up to 58 cents a mile. You also get an on-time delivery bonus, a safety bonus, and a wellness bonus. Those bonuses could bring you up to 60 to 61 cents a mile. It's absolutely possible. So you can go and work for somebody and get that extra 5 cents a mile, however, not get the other bonuses. Or they might also not give you the annual raises based on both the annual raise that we all get and also the periodic raise that we get based on the number of miles we run. So every 125,000 miles I run, I get a bump in pay. Over the years, that makes a difference. Also, you might want to ask if there's a guarantee. As a lease owner operator, you need to make high revenue, low miles. The more miles you're putting on the truck, the more you're paying for fuel, the more you're paying for tire funds and like a cents per mile that Prime takes out. Excess miles charges. So depending on how many miles you're putting on the truck, in all, they could be paying an extra 10 cents a mile. So if you're teaming and your truck's running all the time and you're doing 5,000 miles a week as a company team running for a fleet owner, they could be paying $500 a week just to have the truck running with those miles. So it behooves them to have high revenue, low miles. But if you're a company driver getting paid by the miles, I'd want to know how many miles a week am I going to be getting? And if I'm not making those miles, then I want to know, am I getting a guarantee? Because running in a lightweight truck as a company driver for a company fleet owner at 2,800 miles a week, you're making $1,700 a week. So if I'm going to be on a fleet owner's truck and I'm only getting 12 or 1,300 miles a week, I'm not going to be anywhere near where I could be on a regular company truck. Also understand, I'd want to know when are my increases. I'd want to know about detention and layover pay. These are some of the things that I'd want to know. I'd also want to know about how am I going to get reimbursed for any scale tickets that I have to purchase. Anything like, if there's anything that I need to purchase cash-wise, as a company driver working for Prime, I just scan in my receipts and send a little macro and I get reimbursed. But if I did that and I was driving a lease truck, then the reimbursement would go to that driver, to the owner-operator, rather than the company driver. So I would want to know, how does that all work? Detention pay. I've seen some owner-operators don't pay detention. Okay? Make sure you know what a company driver actually gets paid with all the bonuses. And I am going to do a video about that because I keep seeing these ridiculous numbers like company drivers make $1,000 a week. And I'm like, I don't know any company drivers that only make $1,000 a week. One guy did offer me $1,000 a week to drive his truck and I laughed at him. Also, if you're going to team on a lease truck, make sure you know how much the team rates are. So in that other video, I'm going to put that because Prime has made it extremely profitable for company teams. Extremely profitable. It's now a 69 cent a mile split, and the more miles you drive, the bigger bonus you get. So if you wind up making 5,000 miles a week, it's actually above 4,000 miles a week, you're getting paid $1 a mile that you split anything above 4,000 miles. So it can actually bring your average up so high that, you might not find a company driver who's a lease operator who's willing to pay that much. On the flip side of this, I have placed some of my students in lease trucks and some are very happy. Okay. One of my former students is now driving for Alan Gottfried at Kokomo Express. She's teaming with one of his drivers that I happen to interview. They get along. My student says she's learned so much. the co-driver wanted to take 2 weeks off. Alan said, no problem. My student turned around and said, hey, I don't want to take that time off and I don't want to drive solo. So she went and she teamed with Alan while her co-driver was on vacation. So there's some flexibility there and it works out for everybody. Now, do I think she could be making a little bit more money if she actually went straight company team? Yes, I do. Honestly, I do. However, when she weighed that against leaving a guy that she thinks is really nice and, he's taught her a lot and she feels like she's appreciated, sometimes, depending on your situation, sometimes just an extra little bit of money doesn't make a difference if you're happy doing what you're doing and you're happy where you are. So think about that. Tell me down below what you think are the benefits and the disadvantages of driving for a lease op. And like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. And I hope to see you out here trucking along. Bye.